Hello and welcome to another edition. This is the March Madness, by the way, edition of the LL Basketball Roundtable, brought to you from the fabulous Broadcast Center in 101 North Queen Street in Lancaster. My name is Mike Gross. I'm your host, and the show is brought to you by Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology. We're talking about high school hoops, and we have with us our usual combatants. To my left, John Walk, boys basketball writer for our publications. To my right, Jeff Reinhardt, same deal for girls basketball. And we start, as we haven't for a couple of weeks, but we're getting back to this now, actually going out to one of the schools that's still dancing, going to one of their practices, talking to kids and coaches, and John took the point on that this week, so take it away, big guy.
All right, Lancaster Country Day, the Cougars, Section 5 member of the LL League. They are going back to the District 3 1A title game for what is the second time in 4 years. Nice. They were there in 2019, won their first district crown, so they're going back to the Giant Center again. So we thought we'd stop out after their upset victory last week over top-seeded Mount Calvary Christian, who went into that game with just one loss. Country Day comes out on top, beats them by 9 or 10 points, not the final score in front of me. But anyways, we caught up with John Schultz, the head coach there, who is in his fourth season. Previously, longtime Conestoga Valley assistant, by the way, teaches at Wheatland. When we chatted with Grant Landis, who, by the way, I was crunching the numbers. Going into the District 3 1A final, Grant is averaging 29.8 points per game over the last 6 games. Wow. Currently at 1,038 career points. And he is a Marywood University commit. So we went out to Country Day, chatted about how the season's been, what they think coming up of their District 3 1A final against Lancaster-based Linville Hill Christian. That game is scheduled for Thursday at the Giant Center at 12:45 p.m. We'll throw it to Country Day. All right, Coach Schultz, first off, for people who haven't seen Lancaster Country Day play yet this season, what's kind of the bread and butter both offensively and defensively?
Defensively, we're a man-to-man defensive team for the most part. You can hear here in practice, we communicate, we're loud, because we know we have to be 5 guys on the defensive end. So, that's who we are on the defensive end. Offensively, game to game, we're different. We have different guys step up. Clearly, we have Grant Landis, who's our leading scorer. There's no doubt about it. But we have different guys step up in different spots. So it's a game-to-game situation. We look for our matchups and where we can exploit things.
The District 3 1A semifinal last week, you go on the road, top seeded Mount Calvary Christian. They were a one-loss team going in. Coach was telling me you start off that game. First off, they know you're the scorer, and yet you score your first 11. What was that like, and what's kind of going through your brain at that point?
Yeah, it was really awesome. I mean, going in, they were guarding me really tight, weren't really helping off me that much, and I knew I had to find my shot, and, my teammates do a great job of getting me the ball, setting me screens, getting me open, and, I just let it fly when I'm open, and I just found a groove.
Is this something that 3 or 4 years ago this senior group was kind of looking toward? You were, freshman on the 2019 district title team? You were at Giant Center, I don't know, and now here you are getting back there. How cool is that? Yeah,
it's pretty awesome. I mean, I really looked up to those guys. I didn't play much as a freshman, but it was good to learn from those guys, and I kind of took some tips from them and applied it this year and got my team ready, and now we're here.
What do we know about Linville Hill Christian that kind of concerns you a little bit, or what's kind of without giving away the secrets, how's Grant Landis and Lancaster Country Day going to succeed to come out on top?
Yeah, we played them one time earlier this year, and we lost to them. It was a pretty close game, but they got really good chemistry. They play really well with each other, and we just got to bring that defensive intensity that we brought to Mount Calvary. We're going to bring that to Linville too, and hopefully we can come out on top.
This week it's intense. We're practiced. We're focused on the game, but at the same time, we've been saying at the end, look, we're having fun this week. This is what this is about. They worked so hard these last couple of years really to get here, so we need to enjoy the moment while we have it.
You played Linville Hill Christian earlier this year, came out in the losing end in a narrow defeat. What did you learn from that game coming into this Thursday?
They're a very hard-working team. They pressure the ball well. They have a lot of guys with high motors. They really get after the basketball. They really attack on the transition. They run a very disciplined offense. So, we're just going to get as prepared as we can be.
And we're back. Thanks, John, and also thanks to the folks at Country Day for their cooperation, and they go for the District Gold. Here we go. We are at the stage now. This is Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday District Championship games at the Giant Center in Hershey. 6 games each day. Nothing on Friday, Thursday and Saturday only. Let's go to Mr. Reinhardt.
Hello.
For an update on the girls as they stand as we head toward those district finals.
Okay, can do. Still several LL teams dancing here. As mentioned, Tuesday. So there's a couple of semifinals Tuesday nights, and when you see this, you'll know if Catholic and Mannheim Central get to the finals or not. But here's where we are. 6A, Mannheim Township Blue Streaks made it to states. They won their consolation semifinal. Beat Red Lion 28-25 at a slugfest.
Pitchers duel.
Yeah, pitchers duel. So Streaks playing the 5th place game for seeding. They'll go to states. Good for Mannheim Township. The other team there is Penn Manor. They're in the dreaded win or go home game. 7th place. On Wednesday, the Comets will play at Red Lion. Winner goes to states and gets like Whippeal champ, which is a tough draw.
You think?
Yeah, a little bit. Whippeal's strong this year in 6A. Loser's done. So Penn Manor, good luck Wednesday. Comets at Red Lion for the last spot in states. 5A, 2 teams dancing. Mannheim Central, Tuesday night at 1 seed Mechanicsburg. Barons are playing well. 2-0 here. They defended home court in both of their first 2 games. And they go to Mechanicsburg here in a semifinal win, and they play Saturday evening.
That's
at
correct.
the Giant
Yeah,
Center. 5A
that's
girls,
correct.
correct. LS is the other team still alive. Pioneers have made states. They play in consolation round on Tuesday and Friday for a state seed, but LS is in.
And so is Central.
And so is Central.
Yeah.
Barons are in. The other semifinal is Gettysburg against Lower Dauphin, and in 6A, the final is set. I got to mention this. Sorry, I skipped the rest of 6A. Central Dauphin will play Cumberland Valley. Hello, Mid-Penn Commonwealth rivals forever and ever. Central Dauphin beat undefeated Cedar Cliff on a half-court buzzer beater. That video is making the rounds on Twitter if you haven't seen it.
That made a big splash on social media.
Unbelievable win for the Rams. And Cumberland Valley holds off Dallastown, the 2 seed, in double overtime. So crazy night of basketball on Monday, if you haven't heard. CDCV for the final Thursday night at Giant Center. Okay, mentioned 5A. Gettysburg LD is the other semifinal. Mechanicsburg, Mannheim Central. 4A, 1 team, Lancaster Catholic. Here they are. Took care of Schuylkill Valley pretty comfortably on Friday. Mercy ruled, played really well, made shots. 9-3.
Schuylkill Valley was what? 20,
Not bad.
20-2?
And they were pretty good.
And the Crusaders took them.
Yeah, they mercy ruled them and played really well. So Catholic, the big one, Tuesday night at DeLone Catholic. Rematch of last year's district final. This year in the semifinals, Bermudian Springs plays Berks Catholic in the other semi. That final is Saturday afternoon at the Giant Center. Catholic DeLone should be great. I will be leaving the premises to go to DeLone from here. Wow. AAA, 1 team left, Pequay Valley. They play Brandywine Heights in the 3rd place game. Braves go to states. Seeding game for them on Tuesday. AA final is set. Columbia against Linden Hall. Rematch from last year. Linden Hall won that. Linden Hall, 3-time reigning champ in AA. Columbia, 1 loss by 1 point to Lancaster Catholic in the LL semifinals. So this is just a titanic matchup. Bright and early, Thursday morning, 11 a.m. at the Giant Center. Packed breakfast. That's going to be great. Lastly, 1A, Mount Calvary is through. Good for them. Chargers will play Christian School of York Saturday, bright and early, 11 a.m. at the Giant Center. Rematch of the CCAC final, won by Mount Calvary, which handed Christian School of York one of its 2 losses. They're like 23, 24-2. Mount Calvary beat them 35-31 in the CCAC final. Rematch is for District Gold.
Very quickly,
Yes,
that 4A.
4A.
Catholic and DeLone, that'll be
Yeah.
one of the best games in that class in the state.
Oh, yes.
And Bermudian is also
Yes.
legitimate, right?
They're very good.
I mean, there's
Bermudian
3 teams in that class that
can win it.
could be playing for a while and certainly could win the district.
Fun nugget. Bermudian Springs beat Lancaster Catholic.
Yeah.
2nd night of the year
remember
in the
that.
finals of the New Oxford Tip-Off Tournament by a point.
Yep.
Bermudian Springs has handed DeLone Catholic its lone loss this season in the York Adams Championship game. So Bermudian Springs has beaten Catholic and DeLone.
Yeah,
That-
there you
that's
go.
tough to do in the same season. And DeLone and Lancaster Catholic are both loaded. Loaded. DeLone, I don't do state rankings anymore, but DeLone would probably be number 1 in the state. Lancaster Catholic would probably be top 5, 6, 7 range for sure, no doubt.
Except that they both lost to Bermudian
Except they both
Springs.
lost to Bermudian Springs, and here's Bermudian Springs. They play Berks Catholic, and that's a great game. So whoever gets to Saturday afternoon at the Giant Center, well earned, well deserved. That's going to be an unbelievable final. But the semis Tuesday night are just crazy. Wow.
Good grief. Good job staying up on all that. And I'll follow you
I'm trying.
Thursday morning because the Country Day boys will be right
Well,
after.
you're following him right now, big guy.
Right.
John Walk,
Take it
break
away.
it down. District playoffs on the boys' side.
All right, so let's do this. Let's go 6A and then 5A. We're going to bounce back and forth because you've seen both teams there, and then
I've
we
seen
can kind
some
of get to
things,
the rundown.
man.
6A. All right, so we went in with what? 3 LL League teams. Warwick, Lebanon met the first round. Warwick won that. Hempfield had a first round bye. They lost to Cedar Cliff 42-40 in the quarterfinals, so they're now to the consolation, playing Tuesday night with the spot for states on the line. They need to win one of 2 in order to get into states there. They face Wilson Tuesday night, so we'll know those results by the time you watch this. Speaking of 6A, Warwick, quarterfinals last February. Went to, or last Friday, I should say. Went
In
to
a sense, it is last February.
second-seeded Cumberland Valley. Went to overtime, won it 58-51. By the time you guys watch this, we will know the results of Tuesday night's matchup. Warwick at third-seeded Central Dauphin. But regardless of what happens there, we should talk about that quarterfinal win for the Warriors. You were there for it. Tell us.
Yeah, it was a great game, and a couple of observations about this game. If you've seen Hempfield play, Cumberland Valley pretty similar physically to Hempfield. Okay. Same kind of overall size, a little bit different. The scoring comes from different places, but very similar teams. And this was a great effort on the defense and rebounding side by Warwick. It really was. And in particular, I want to point out this kid, Carter Horst, sophomore, about 6'1", kind of skinny, 14 points, 14 rebounds.
Wow.
Against this guys that were 6'4", 6'5". And I asked him after the game, what's your vertical leap? And he said, 40 inches. And I said, yeah, Cumberland Valley kids are probably thinking, yeah, that sounds about right, because he got a lot of tough rebounds, and they as a group really defended and rebounded really well. And this is a team, Warwick, that they have that senior point guard, Tate Landis, who is their best player. But we've really seen them grow up. I mean, they're playing like 3 sophomores and a freshman among their rotation players. Those kids aren't really underclassmen anymore. I think I've really seen a maturity in that team, and that was a great win. Good atmosphere, fun, a really fun game.
So again, check out the basketball page of Tuesday of Lancaster Online to get results from Tuesday's game. Warwick going to Central Dauphin. I'll be there for that, having covered that. But regardless of what happens there, Warwick is in the state. So if they keep playing the way that they did last Friday, perhaps they make a nice little dent there in states. All right, Class 5A, we entered with what? 4 LL League teams. We have 2 remaining. E-Town will play, I believe, Wednesday night. Facing Palmyra for a spot in states for the 5A bracket. So E-Town, I think, goes on the road to Palmyra for that. Meanwhile, Lampeter Strasburg, top seeded, unbeaten, now 26-0 after what was a nuts game in the semifinals Monday night, 87-82 win, 3 overtimes over 4th seeded Hershey. Both semifinals in 5A went triple OT. You were there to watch LS.
Yeah, this was an epic game. I mean, this is really something to watch. Hershey was very good. I think Hershey might be the best team that LS has played so far. Very well coached by Paul Blackburn, my old buddy from Lebanon days, and they had some size. They had this 6'5" guy who looks like he's 30 years old, and he's got to be 250, and he's a center. He plays with his back to the basket, real center. So you can imagine the matchup problems that this created for LS because they don't have a lot of size. But I would something that the Mechanicsburg coach said to me when they played LS last week really resonated with me. He said, you know, people have been telling me that we match up really well with LS. I'm not sure anybody matches up really well with LS. And the thing is, people think of matchups, they think of size and quickness. The matchup headache that LS creates for everybody is they put 5 guys out there who can score and who can make decisions, and usually 4 of them can really shoot the 3. I thought Hershey defended them really well, and you know, it's 87 points. Now granted, it was in triple overtime. 35 points for Ty Burden, even though he was defended very well. So that's what LS is bringing to the table, and it was really it was an extraordinary game. It was really, I thought neither team gave it away. Neither team screwed up really. Just toe to toe, slugging it out. Great stuff.
I like the fact that after the game, Coach Ed Berryman says this is a business trip on Thursday night. They will face Shippensburg, who is third seeded. Thursday night, 7:45, Hershey's Giant Center. That's going to be the late game. Hopefully it tips at 7:45. I'm expecting
that ain't tipping at
happening.
7:45.
Not happening.
So Shippensburg, there's 3 common opponents between these teams. LS is into the district final for the first time since 2016. Their first and only district championship came in 2002. This is the first trip to the Giant Center under the Berryman era at LS. Let's talk a little bit about that game. So since you broke down Lampeter Strasburg a little bit, I know Shippensburg, just kind of going over some trivia nuggets. I couldn't believe this. First time they're in a district final since the year I was born, 1987.
Wow.
And that was a loss. So they're in search of what would be the program's first district championship on Thursday night. They're led by a senior guard, Jaden Statham. He was All-State last year as a junior. And then Anthony Smith, 6'6", 255 pounds. He is a football recruit of Minnesota. And I believe before we started recording, you had mentioned if you look at Shippensburg's schedule, their season opener, they lost to Lancaster Mennonite.
Yeah, close game, but that was probably Lancaster Mennonite's best win of the year.
And there was some other circumstances.
I think that Smith got injured during that game. So that might have been a factor there. The big kid that's going to Minnesota for football. But Shippensburg, I believe, only has 3 losses.
Right.
Now, they're in that 3rd division in the Mid-Penn. They were not in there with Hershey and Palmyra. That Cedar Cliff, that bunch was really, really strong. So they probably haven't played as good a schedule as maybe a Hershey Palmyra, but they're formidable.
Shippensburg, the Mid-Penn Colonial Co-Division champ since they split with Waynesboro. They were 13-1 within league play. They fell to Cedar Cliff, 55-49 in the Mid-Penn Conference title game. We've obviously seen what they've been able to do. I thought notable, their district opener, they beat Octorara 71-34. Octorara was averaging 65 a game. That's their season low. So apparently they can play a little bit of defense in Shippensburg, which they're going to have to on Thursday night. All right, so let's go to 4A. 1A, one team still alive out of the LL League there being Elko. They are in a District 3 4A consolation matchup. They beat Eastern York. That's a really good win for them. Eastern York made it to the York Adams League final, by the way. So Elko plays, I believe, Bishop McDevitt or Boiling Springs, I forget. Anyway, they play Wednesday night.
I think it's the Bubblers.
They have to win that in order to get into states because the top 5 teams out of District 3 4A make it. So Elko kind of sitting there hoping to do some things on Wednesday night.
I would say Elko and E-Town, 2 teams that have kind of gone back into the weeds of the losers bracket and done a nice job.
Yeah,
they're plugging away.
And sometimes you face teams that, they're in these consies and they're maybe not playing up to it perhaps, and E-Town and Elko are like, hey, this is big for us.
Yeah, that's right. They get credit for playing up to it.
You tend to forget about the consolation bracket after a while.
Yeah,
it's never
understandably.
ending.
I mean, there's so, the mind can only...
Sure.
The mind boggles.
District 3 3A, Columbia is into the district final for the 2nd year in a row. If you remember last year, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, those games were played at the higher seed of the district bracket. So all that is to say, this is Columbia's first trip to the Giant Center since 2015 when Matt Johns was head coach. First trip to the Giant Center under the Kerry Glover era as head coach there. They've kind of been building to this. They will face 2nd seeded York Catholic. If you remember, Columbia went on the road to York Catholic about a month or so ago, and they won that game. Columbia won that game by about 29. So Catholic's going to need a vast improvement. And I even talked to the York Catholic coach on Monday night, just kind of picking his brain about that. And he kind of agrees, and he recognized they got to do a billion things right in order to have a shot there. So that game, District 3 3A final, Saturday, Giant Center, 4:15 p.m., Columbia, York Catholic. District 3 Class 2A, also Saturday. This is earlier in the day. Lancaster Mennonite is into the district final. They are the reigning defending District 3 2A champions there. They won last year under Coach Seth Buckwalter, which is noteworthy because their first district crown as a program came in '97 when Buckwalter was an all-state standout. He becomes head coach. They win it in '21. They're going to the Giant Center again, first trip for the Buckwalter coach Blazers team. At least in this time frame, they won it at home last year. They will face Antietam. And Mike, this is where I'll throw it to you because I don't know too much about Antietam. I didn't know if you can
I don't know names, unfortunately, but I do know a little bit about them. They have 20 wins. They won their division for the first time in a long time in the Berks League, and Lancaster Mennonite beat them during the regular season.
Right.
They're a solid team. We're so used to seeing Antietam this time of year, but a lot of that is because they've been A or double A, and they're, you know what I mean. It's kind of a level of competition thing. This year, I think they're a legitimate team. They got 20 wins.
Okay, and then finally, Lancaster Country Day, District 3, Class 1A. That game will be played on Thursday, 12:45 p.m. That'll follow what, the 11 a.m. game? Who's playing in that? The girls?
On Saturday?
Yeah, on Thursday.
On Thursday, Columbia, Linden Hall, I think.
Okay, so you'll be there, and then I'll follow with the boys, Lancaster Country Day and Linville Hill Christian, which is based in Paradise in Lancaster County. So 2 Lancaster County teams squaring off for the 1A gold there, which we chatted a little bit about, obviously, at the top of the show. That would be Country Day going for their second district crown overall, second in 4 years. And I believe Linville Hill has not won it. They're making their first appearance overall as a program in the District 3 title game. So interesting matchup there. So overall, 8 LL League teams still alive in districts. We have, as of you're watching this, we have 4 playing for District Gold. Depending on what Warwick does Tuesday night, we could have 5. So pretty good showing of that.
I think it's been a particularly good year for our league on the boys' side.
No doubt.
I mean, not that it hasn't on the girls' side, but I think it's been a particularly strong year.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Hopefully you guys were able to follow all that.
Oh, sure. Pop quiz.
All right, lay it on tonight.
Just a couple scoring notables. Maddie, these kids are still playing and have a chance to add to their career totals. Maddie Nyer at Mannheim Central goes into Tuesday's game at Mechanicsburg, 1,291 points. So she's moving up the Barron's chart quickly. Morgan Miller, who hit a half-court, halftime buzzer beater for Penn Manor against Central York the other night. She's up to 929, and as mentioned, Penn Manor win or go home on Wednesday. Comets Red Lion. Bree Dreggy.
Might not get 71.
I don't think she's got 71 in her, but we shall see. Bree Dreggy from Columbia is at 915. And Columbia, I think, they're in states, so they're going to get a couple more games. So we'll see if she can get to 85 and 1,000. I had this note the other day. Kyla Correa, Lebanon, freshman, 499 career points. Freshman year. It's pretty good. So 500. Let's round it up. So she's on pace to get 1,000 as a sophomore. Yeah. And 2,000 in her career. And if Bree Dreggy, who is a sophomore, can get to 1,000 here with the state run,
he's on the same pace.
Same path to get 2,000. And Columbia's going to have a couple of good years here, I have a feeling. So we shall see if Correa and Dreggy can get to 2,000. There's only been 6 or 7 girls who've done that in league history, and they're going to be on pace to do it. So keep an eye on that.
One scoring note from me
Yes,
on the boys' side. Mannheim Central, the Barons lost in a District 3 5A consolation. Their season is done. I believe they're, 18-10 overall. All that is to say that last game, Mannheim Central junior guard Trey Grube scored 31, drilled 7 3-pointers, finished the season 101 3-pointers in the season. I'm still checking to find out what the league record is. Curtis Waltman might have it, but I do know Grube's 101 3-pointers in the season is the most since 2002. Brian Boyd at LS had 100 in the season.
He was a shooter. He was really a shooter.
Yeah. Well, hey,
it's been a long while.
Curtis Waltman had 1,000 points in his senior season.
Right.
Yeah, 1,000, 1,011 or something in his senior season.
And Trey's already over 1,000 points and has a good shot to finish at least in the top 3 there all-time scoring next season. But congrats to Trey and Charlie Fisher and the guys on one heck of a run, especially in that league semi game against LS.
Yeah, they did well at the end of the year.
Wow.
All right, gang. Next time we meet, we'll have state playoffs to discuss. And I promise there'll be fewer teams to discuss because, not many teams make the state playoffs. But we'll see. Some will, and we'll be back to talk about all of that. That's it. This has been the LL Basketball Roundtable brought to you by Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology. He's John Walk. He's Jeff Reinhardt. I'm Mike Gross. See you later.